Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Great to see you all this morning. A plan and a purpose. A plan and a purpose. I'm just going to read 2 Corinthians 6, verse 1. For we are partners working together with God, realizing that we are part of God's work. So we're partners with Him, partners within Him in His work. It's really encouraging. It's nice to know that you're not on your own. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. And He's here with us. It's very great encouragement. And I was thinking about plan and a purpose. A bit of a double act. That got me thinking. A double act. Do you know any great double acts? And I used to think, well, certainly Jess will probably remember, one of the teachers in school in our PE department, her name was Jane, so it was the 2 Janes. And funnily enough, we've now got some young men in our department, Joel and Jamie. So we've got another double act. So it's quite good in that they work together. We work together well. So I am encouraging us this morning that we're working with His plans and purposes together. We're never on our own. That's my first thought for us today. We're never, ever on our own. He's with us continually. And then I was thinking about 2 peas in a pod. So these are my 2 peas in this pod. So I'm going to encourage us now, we have a look at a couple of scriptures. So if we can, I think they might be on the board, I nearly said, can you tell I'm a teacher? On the board. Anyway, if we have a look at Proverbs 16, verse 9, and Proverbs 19, verse 21. So this is the first one. Proverbs 16, verse 9. Are we on my next one? I'll read it out while we're... In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. So a man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Plans. We all have plans. We've all been planners at some point in time. Whether it's going off to uni, planning where you want to go, whether it's planning to get married, planning to move a house, planning to apply for a job. We all have these plans. And my next verse, which was Proverbs 19, verse 21, and this one says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purposes that prevail. I liked that when it said many. So it's not saying don't have these plans. Many are the plans in a man's heart. But it's the Lord's will that prevails. So it's actually teaching us that we should make plans. It's good to make plans. But bear in mind that these plans have to be a little bit fluid and may change, because it's the Lord who directs our steps. And He's sovereign. He's above all. He can see the bigger picture. And I use this phrase because Barry put a little article this week on our C4 page. And down the bottom of this article, it talked about, Barry, wasn't it, looking at the bigger picture. And I like that. It was encouraging me, thinking, right, these are some of the phrases that I've got for us this morning. He knows the bigger picture. I want to give you a little instant from what I'm going through at the moment. Again, in my teaching role within the school, for 26 years, I've been delivering activities to children in the primary school. our 13 primary schools. So they've been coming to our school, and I've been with a team of leaders, we've been delivering activities. Everything was planned for this academic year also. The plans for the forthcoming year normally start literally round about April time. So everything was in place for this coming September. And the head teacher called me into the office, this was June, and told me that was no longer going to happen. So you can imagine I was quite upset, but my questions weren't aimed at God. My questions were aimed at the head. Why? Why? Why this? Why that? All these years and it's been so successful. Why? 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 Good question. The Lord always has the answer. And I know he was teaching me about our attitude of our heart to when things don't go the way that's been planned. And it was due to financial reasons. That's why things have changed. And what I am teaching now, I'm still teaching some work within the PE department, but I'm also teaching personal health and social education. I have 10 lessons of it. 2 with year 8, 6 with year 10, and 2 with year 11. I was there, as Ken will tell you, Joss, Esther, Matt, I was there thinking, oh, I'm not looking forward to this. I'm in my twilight, if you like, of my teaching career, almost finished. And suddenly, I have a plan. Well, not I have a plan. God has a different plan to me. That week, this was Facebook, there was a Facebook picture, and it so spoke to me. So I'm just going to explain it to you. There was a little child talking to Jesus, and the little child had a teddy bear, so big. And Jesus was obviously holding out his hand for this teddy bear. And what this little child couldn't see, what Jesus was holding behind his back, it was about that, from the floor, it was about that big. There was a huge teddy bear behind Jesus' back. And this really spoke to me and helped me to get through what I was experiencing at that time. So I definitely am saying, not why to the Lord, I'm just believing that in these lessons that I'm teaching as well as my PE, and I'm teaching personal social health education. And as you can imagine, it's those of you who are young enough to have experienced that in schools will know that it's not one of the best loved subjects. It's a subject where they think they can come in and just doss about and do nothing. What's the point of all of this? So I'm now 6 or 7 weeks into these 10 lessons, and I'm already beginning to see some of the reasons why I think it might be me in there teaching these lessons. I've had more opportunity this last week, children asking me, what do you think about being a Christian, miss? I looked at this girl in year 10. We weren't talking about that. I was going around looking at her work. And I'm thinking, well, maybe, Lord, this bigger purpose, I feel I've had something taken off me that I've loved, and I have loved it. So maybe he's teaching me another lesson. You have to let some things go. Sometimes we have to let some things go and the door is shut. But another door has opened, another chance. And you know, on my baptism in water, my water baptism, all those years ago, the scripture that was given me was this one. I've always questioned it. This one and that one will be born in her because he's the greatest that establishes you, me, you. And I'm beginning to think, well, I've got probably, 5 more months left in teaching. Maybe all this time it's been for such a time as this. I'm getting a bit emotional, but for such a time as this. So it's just to encourage you when you come across situations where maybe a door's been shut. Maybe it's not worked out how you thought. I am a planner. I do actually like planning. I have my to-do lists in school. It's all there and I'm ticking them off. So I am a planner. But sometimes I need to look to this bigger picture because sometimes it doesn't go that way. And recently, those of you that drive around Homegate, Littlemore, Alton, you'll know that this last fortnight there's been diversion signs out. Rerouting, take this detour. So I've been coming home from school and you have to go a bigger detour and it's always bigger than you think. This one is. I'm thinking, well, I'm there. I'm bottom of Littlemore Hill, I've just come up here, down there. And they send you all the way round, right through Clay Cross in the end, to get up the A61 and back into Old Tupton. So it's a big detour. And the Lord sometimes, that's how he is with us. What's happening to that road? They've all been resurfaced. There's been some construction work going on. And again, the Lord reminded me, as I was planning this, that's just what I've been doing with you. I've been reconstructing, or I'm constructing something in you that's different. So for all of us this morning, be encouraged when you think, I've gone on where are you taking me, Lord? Why's that door shut? Where am I going next? He says, I am directing your footsteps. So don't ask why. This is what he was asking me. Don't ask why. What you can ask, what can I learn in this situation that I'm in? What can I learn by this? Certainly to trust him more. Trust him that things are going to work out. Hopefully, in my last few months of teaching, I'm going to be the better teacher for having taught in the classroom some of these and the difficult concepts, as some of you will know. This week, for Year 8, how do you know if you're in love? That's what I had to teach. I know. Yeah. How do you know if you're in love? You can imagine I was asked all kinds of questions. And you can imagine I didn't have all the answers. I was explaining what I thought, and I'm saying this and I'm saying that. There's some really different, and that was Year 8. I won't go into some of the concepts I've got to deliver after November half term to Year 10 and 11. You can probably imagine. They'll probably know more than I do. So maybe I'm going to learn some interesting things. I'm going to have to put them right in some other concepts. But it's interesting, isn't it? I could be saying, why now, Lord? Why am I doing this now? And he'll probably just say, because you're the person that I want to do this right now. And that's what he's saying to each of you. Right now, in the plans that you've got. Be encouraged, He's with you. He is directing your footsteps. He's always good. When we think, well, I probably wouldn't do it like that. No, you wouldn't, because you're not God. God is sovereign. He sees the bigger picture. Sometimes I like to have a look, when I get the chance, sometimes looking at art galleries. It's no good being right up here. You might see fine detail. You've got to step back and then appreciate what the bigger picture looks like. And that's what He says to us sometimes. Don't rush in, step back and have a look at this bigger picture. With Judah, our grandson, you saw him in the little party hat. with Judah, we've been playing this game, and he likes to drive his play car, get in his little play car, and he likes to go to Manchester Airport, to be precise. So we've had these little maps. We've got a little sketch of the crooked spire on it. That's stuck by the television. And then we have another little map up towards the back of the living room, and that's got Stockport on it. And then we've got this aeroplane sign pointing to Manchester. And then when we get into the kitchen, we're in the airport. And he has his little phone in the back of his little car, and he gets lost, doesn't he, Ken? He gets lost, so he has to ring up Grandad. I've got lost, Grandad. Me and Foxy, that's his little toy, me and Foxy have got lost. Can you come and get us? And it just reminded me, it did honestly just remind me this week, in heaven is our Heavenly Father. When we get lost, ask Him. Not me ring Him up, but ask Him, pray. I need some help here. Where I am right now, I don't know what I'm doing here, but can you get me to where I want to go? In Judah's case, it was Manchester Airport. He loves going. But it's like that. It helps us wherever we're at. So don't worry about these detours, because you'll probably end up, well, I was going to say 5 or 6. It may be in the hundreds. In a lifetime, you may have quite a number of these little detours. And it's always not why, but what can I learn through it? Challenge yourself. What can I learn through this? What is it you're trying to show me at this moment in time? And I definitely think He certainly has a bigger picture for me in the school I'm at. 26 years of doing this. Well, it's different every year, don't you know, the different events, but I'm doing all these events with the primary. And then suddenly, and it was literally just like that, because everything was planned and it was turned around. And the head said to me, "You're really resilient." I thought, yeah, because it's Him. It's not, look beyond the head. Don't aim it at Him. I have to accept what's happened and move on with it and bring something to the school. I'm thinking, well, I've had quite a bit of experience in life, and some of the questions they ask you are very interesting, but that this week, when that girl said to me, it was like, what do you believe? She was asking me, because obviously it's very difficult not to force things on them or anything like that, but the question came from her. We were actually talking about being a responsible adult with money. That's what we were actually talking about. But when I went round to look at her work, that's what she was saying to me. So just believe that wherever you're at, whatever questions you've got, that's what He's going to answer you. So this interaction, the interaction that we have, his plan, your plan, our plan. When it's not going what you think's your way, just believe that he's trying to build your faith. He's building your faith in each and every situation and circumstance to trust him more, knowing that he does know the beginning from the end. He's got this blueprint, which, by the way, having researched, actually they're white prints now. Some of you may know they're not actually blueprints that they have in building and architecture. He's got that blueprint, or the white print. He's got it there. He knows. He knows how we're moving through this life. He knows what he's planning for each and every one of us, and we're walking in his purposes. Just where you are right now, I believe that you're in his purpose. You're in his plan. Wherever you're at, you're in his plan, and he's directing your footsteps. And just to finish, Acts 16, this was Paul, Silas and Timothy. If you have a chance to look at it over the week, Acts 15 and 16, Paul, Silas and Timothy, they were planning to go. And their plans were interrupted, and they ended up somewhere totally different. They ended up somewhere totally different. And they found Lydia. And they spoke to Lydia. They were expecting, Paul had a dream. They were expecting to meet a man in, I think it was Macedonia. Let me just check. Macedonia, I think. Yeah, Macedonia. And they met Lydia. And they could have thought, we've come to speak to Macedonia, this whole area, and they were by Philippi, this little outpost. And there they met Lydia, spoke to Lydia. Paul took it as another opportunity, and actually from that one encounter with her, the gospel message spread all across Europe. So they could have thought, what are we doing in this place? We were stopped going to Asia, wanted to go to Macedonia, ended up near Philippi, speaking to this lady, and then the whole of the region and all of Europe and beyond got to know about the Lord from their obedience by going. So just be encouraged again this morning. Wherever you're at, his plan for you and for me, for our church, our area, Claycross and beyond, it is good. It may not look like it sometimes to us, but to him, it's all a part of his plan and his purpose. And he's made you, we all might have 2 eyes, ears, a mouth, nose, features. Don't you think it's interesting when we go around the world and you see just everybody's different, unless you're totally identical twin, but even then in personality, they're different. So just be encouraged, he has got everything worked out, and he will lead you in that path. And if you have strayed off, like one of the things said, he leaves the 99 to fetch you. So just be really encouraged today. He does direct your footsteps daily.